Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the I Do Dialogue. For this episode, we had the pleasure of interviewing Mike and Obi, and I think you're going to really enjoy their interview. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all of that.
The guests probably know.
They know this?
Because all this is the stuff we freaked out about.
Had to do with the guests.
So first and foremost, like we said, we already mentioned this. Our guest count was way more than what we expected. So we had assigned seating. But when you have assigned seating and you're not expecting double the amount of people you invite to come, it gets a little bit like hectic, and that's what happened. We got a bit hectic in the beginning. So until finally, my mother-in-law had to come in and say, you know what, assigned seating is done. Everybody go in, find yourself a seat, and if you don't have a seat, we have extra chairs. We'll bring it out, we'll make extra tables, and you can sit. So that was how our wedding started. We just the overwhelming aspect. But I think everybody who came early saw that, and the people that came a little later probably have no idea that was going on. So it's like you get two different people who came early, like, oh my God, your wedding was good, but at the very beginning, oh man, it was crazy. The people that came later are like, man, your wedding was good. They have nothing negative to say. So it's like depending on when you came, you probably heard something different.
And that's another thing too. I want to tell couples. We purposely put on the flyer 4 o'clock for us to start at 6. And surprisingly, Africans that day came on time.
What?
For the first time ever in history,
they
all came on time.
Mind you, like we were at the church. One of my bridesmaids got a text saying there was a line at the hotel.
There was 150 people line at the hotel,
ready to check in for cocktail hour.
Wow.
So I don't know what happened. I know prior to the wedding, we kept telling our parents to tell their friends, if you're not there on time, no seat.
You may not have a seat.
You're not there on time. So I think my parents and his parents kind of spread the word a little bit. Everybody was on time.
That is amazing.
We were taking our pictures outside like, why is all these people here? We weren't expecting that. So because of that, so many people came at once. And we didn't have the right amount of staff to check everyone in. So as Africans, we don't like to wait. And if we wait too long, we start to go in front of the line and start to da. So that's what happened. People were not patient. And the funny thing is that most people that were complaining or not patient weren't invited.
Always.
So you have you are really that bold to go to the front and start commanding stuff, but you're not even invited? And shout out to our security, Cyril.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We purposely got African men that were security officers because they're the only ones that can deal with us. And they were very patient. They worked with everyone. They were kind of situated in line. So that was one big thing that happened that a lot of guests found out about. A lot of them didn't, because the ones that came later had no clue.
So I mean, if we could do it over, if I could offer advice to somebody who's getting married now as to how to deal with that situation, this is what I would say. You have to know ahead of time what kind of wedding you're gonna have. If you know that you're gonna stick to the amount of people that you're inviting and your security is gonna keep you from coming in, then that's fine. Assigned seating is perfect. If you know that you belong to a culture where sending people away from your wedding is frowned upon, people are gonna show up anyway. Assigned seating, it may be good to reserve a few tables for your important people, but assigned seating has to be thrown out the door, because then you just cause confusion for yourself.
Yeah,
So that's something to always consider. And if you're gonna have assigned seating, make sure, like I said, you have to understand how much people are gonna come and have the right amount of staff to make sure that those people are placed appropriately. Because otherwise,
and you can have a good wedding without it being assigned seating.
We've been to a few.
We've been to a few where everybody just walked in and just had your seat. And it's fine. And the thing, at the end of the day, if you came late, around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the wedding starts at 5, the reception starts at 5, you're there at 8, you already know you're not going to have a seat. Yeah. So you should already have the expectation of just walking in and having a good time, not so worried about where to find a seat or not to find a seat. So that was our biggest, I would say that was the biggest thing. Once that kind of passed away and everybody found their own seat, the wedding, you could see on people's faces, and everybody was like, okay, content, I have my chair. Even to the point where we had a photo booth, people did not even use that photo booth. People used it, but not as many as we liked, because people were scared of using their chairs.
Well, when you got over 1,000 people popping up and popping, so better guard your seat with your life.
So I'm Cameroonian, but I'm Anglophone Cameroonian. You know, the part of Cameroon that I'm from is literally like 20 miles away from. You can literally drive from my mom's village into Nigeria. So we speak English, and a lot of our cultures are very similar to what you call Nigerian cultures. So it wasn't really that much of a huge dynamic or huge difference between the two groups. So we kind of meshed well together. There wasn't anything that surprised us in terms of preparing for this, culturally speaking. You know, even like when my family came to ask for a hand, you know, her family was very surprised the way we did it because they were like, "This is how we do things in Nigeria. This is how we do things in Cameroon." Also, you know, at the end of the day, you know, what separates us is a river. You know, we've been living side by side for thousands of years, so our cultures are very similar. Um, but you know, specifically Igbo traditions, those are some things that we had to learn. You know, and her parents were very, you know, eager to teach us, and it went well. I wouldn't say there was much in the way of hiccups. Now, when it came to the wedding, though, you know, we did have to play some traditional Cameroonian music because even though we do listen to a lot of the same music, there are some, you know, I guess we call it country music, you know, specific for the village that my parents are from, that, you know, they played just to make sure that we felt represented, you know. But for the most part, you know, our culture is very similar, so it wasn't like anything that had to be done specifically.
Yeah, I didn't think that we went through any.
Yeah.
We didn't. It was, to be honest with you, I prayed a lot during this whole process, and I was smiling a lot because it was, even when his parents would come to my house, everything was just so like, I don't even know, like it just meshed well. Everything was so natural. Nobody was arguing about nothing. Nobody was, even when it came to the mommies dressing alike or the daddies dressing alike, nobody had any arguments. Oh no, I want to wear this. Oh no, in my tradition I wear this. There was no arguments. The mommies looked the same. The daddies looked the same. Everything, like our family got along so well to the point where it's like my mom would call his mom without even meeting me, or his dad would call my dad without needing us to be the middle person, which I loved so much. And it just made me realize that like we're brothers and sisters country wise.
Right.
Like we're right next door to each other. And it worked. Even when we did a tradition, so we basically divided our office into three. We went a white wedding. Then when we changed for the traditional segment, we wore something more Igbo. Then for the last outfit, we wore something more Cameroonian. So we decided to do all black and with like touches of a Togo. That's their country wear. So instead of, usually a lot of couples wear like full head of Togo, but we decided not to do that. We decided to do something more elegant and to fit our theme, which was more Vanity Fair. So we decided to do like touches of a Togo. Like when I wore my gele, I had a Togo on it. He had a hat with a Togo on it. So it looked very nice. And like when we wore it, a lot of people were like, wow, people don't usually do this. But it was still like a mix of both cultures together, even though I'm starting to become a part of him now. So no, surprisingly it was really well. And I feel like that's key too. Your families have to mesh, y'all.
Yeah.
If the families don't mesh, woo, it's gonna be a struggle. And if they don't, just pray about it. Just try the best you can to help mesh. Because you know, our parents are so awkward sometimes. Because you know, they're in their ways, they have their certain friends, they have their certain doing. But when you can kind of help mesh them together, it helps.
So a lot of people don't realize how expensive weddings are until you're actually trying to get married, and that's when it hits you. So my advice would be that, you know, if you're dating somebody, you guys are serious, you know, even if you're only dating for a year and you guys start having that conversation, you know, start looking up vendors, places to go so you can have an idea. And you know, the way we did it, we did a combined account, and every paycheck we had a certain amount of our check going into that account. So we didn't even see, the money just kept growing until eventually it was enough to cover all the stuff that we had to take care of.
Don't do that unless you really know.
Yeah.
Unless you really know. And I think the reason why we did that is because we trust each other and we knew that we were already in it. This was after I was already, like, he proposed to me, we already picked the date, then we started an account. The account had both of our names on it, so of course when we opened the account, it was for the reason of the wedding. So part of my check, part of his check would go into the account, and we would not even touch it. So when it came to paying for stuff, we looked at the account like, okay, we have the money, so we can start paying. However, whenever we had to pay a vendor, we would use that account and just pay. like card or Cash App or however the vendor wants to pay. But I will say, if you know yourself and you know that this is something that you really want to do, basically you have to know what kind of style wedding.
Okay.
So if you know you have high expectations, you need to save more.
Okay.
If you know your expectations are not that bad and you're like, oh, you know, I'm going to do like a little like rusty wedding at a farm or something like that. I only need like 30 or 40 G's. That's fine. Then save up to 40 to 30 G's. But because we knew that our count was going to be high, we're doing the trad and white together, not separate, doing both weddings together. So that was another
On
thing.
the same day.
Yeah, on the same day. So that was why we had to like, okay, we need to make sure that our money is up there because.
What I can recommend is, I don't recommend anybody taking out a loan for a wedding. Because in today's day and age, especially people in our generation, you have
Snap.
Yeah, you have student loans. If you have a house, you probably have a loan for that. You probably have a loan on your car. Why add a one-day event, this big loan until so save as much as you can, and then when you sit back and realize, okay, this is how much we have, see if your parents can help out. A lot of times parents will be willing to help because they want your day to be beautiful as well. Because like we said earlier, a lot of this African, your wedding is your parents' wedding day as well. So they're willing to help. But definitely don't take out any loans. And once you have your budget, try to stick to it. If it means less people, it means less people. If it means it's not as flashy as the Instagram weddings, then that's what it is. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that you and your significant other, you guys are getting married, you're becoming one, and that's all that matters. So save as much as you can to make the grandest affair that you can. But if you can't keep up with the Joneses on Instagram, it's okay.
And don't look at Instagram, only you look at it for inspiration within your budget. Don't look at it and be like, oh my gosh, she had a wedding like this, I gotta make mine like this. Don't try to compare yourself, oh my god, that was my biggest thing. I tried, and even asking Mike, I tried so hard to stay off Instagram because it was like, you see somebody with something that you like, and you're like, oh, I want that. But you know that your pocket's not looking like that. So just try to keep yourself away from temptation and try not to tempt yourself. Another thing too, if it's something that you're combining with your parents, like we did, ask your parents for help. We divvied it up. Our moms handled the food because moms, they're very particular with food. Drinks, we all know our dads are very particular, very bourgeois with drinks. So the daddies handled the drinks and we handled everything else. And let me say that helped a lot because when it came to the food or came to drinks, any questions, I would call my dad, I would call his dad, I would call my mom, I would call my mother-in-law. I didn't have to handle it because I knew they were handling it. So that was another thing that helped us as well as far as money because we knew that we were handling everything else and they were handling those two things. So
I've even met couples who, financially they weren't ready for a wedding, but they wanted to be married. They'll do a courthouse wedding and call it a day, and then save and then maybe do the real wedding 2 years later. I've seen couples who say, oh, you know what, let's do the traditional here and then go do the destination wedding. That'll save,
The wedding's on you. Do what you want to do. Do what you can.
There's life after the wedding, and you don't want to set yourself so far back that life after the wedding becomes unbearable.
Yes.
So key.
So
awesome. Keys to success. Thank you.
Awesome.